Yeah, guys, very warm welcome to all of you to our podcast series. And today we have a very special guest, Prash Chandramohan. So, Prash is the Senior Director of Product Marketing at Informatica. So, Prash, I really welcome you to our podcast series and thank you so much for taking out your time.
Of course, Rohit. This is a pleasure to be here, and yeah, I mean we've been talking about it for a while, so finally making it happen. So I'm excited about it.
Absolutely, Prash. And I know you from almost a decade. I know I used to follow your MDM blogs. So I've been, a avid reader of your blogs, and now you are there with me. It's very, very exciting, Prash.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think about 15, 20 years ago, almost now, since I've been here in this space, I've been doing. I was thinking about this. I've been doing some deep diving into the same technology for 20 decades. That kind of comes in as a surprise for many people. But I'm still not bored. I'm still talking about master data management specifically, but also data management in general. It's kind of like the analogy you use for explaining to people is like, some people binge watch their favorite show over and over and over again and never get tired of. Well, that's exactly how I feel like about this space and what I'm doing here. So exciting time for sure.
Prash, I'm sure you have seen the complete transition in MDM. Like, long back it was on-premise and now we are going to cloud. So just want to understand from your perspective how your journey has been in MDM. Like you have seen how MDM journey, is transitioning.
Yeah, no. I can elaborate on that for length, a long time amount of time, as much as I've spent in the space. But really, look, I think the transition to the cloud that we are seeing today is unlike anything I've seen in the past. Obviously, in terms of trends, in terms of the changes that have happened in the space over the last 20 years, I've been associated with it. Now, obviously, the cloud, when you talk about cloud, you often think about scale, cost savings, right? Those are normally what comes into your mind when you generally talk about cloud. But I think that equation has changed a little bit. Cloud isn't just about scaling bigger and saving few bucks. It's much more than that, right? That's how I see it. Um, just to kind of not just come from my mind, but also come from some of the customers we talked to. We did a recent survey, for example, of customers who are using on-prem solution, but also are in a process of transitioning to cloud the cloud first strategy. What we heard was about 80% of those data leaders have either initiated or completed a cloud first strategy as it applies to data management already, right? And what was even important for me was, and it was an important nugget, and in next 3 years, most of those data leaders said they forecast 91% or something like that of their workload will be on the cloud when it comes to data management. Like whether you do integration, governance, master data management, all that is going to happen in the cloud. And my comment, I mean, we can kind of do a banter around this how you want to go about it, but really, like, if I kind of add to that, the challenge I see is a lot of vendors have tried to move to MDM, specifically to the cloud, by making what I see it as a smaller tweaks, right? So some decided, for example, to focus on improving the user experience as a way to move to cloud, right? Some focused on providing a specific domain-based application, like you hear about Customer 360, for example, right? Some came in and said, we will provide a great Customer 360 solution on the cloud. Some said we'll provide great PIM solution on the cloud, right? That sounds exciting for them, right? Because they can tell a really nice story about how they can provide faster time to value, and help customer that way. But if you really focus on, the challenges here, from a customer point of view, it's like focusing on one small piece of the puzzle, right? If you're truly solving the customer's problem, you can't look at this as a one piece of the puzzle, right? You need to holistically look at it as a larger multi-dimensional challenge in the cloud that you need to solve. You can't simply press an easy button. In other words, you need to really work towards looking at what customers are trying to address with MDM and help them come up with something really a multi-dimensional problem that you need to solve in the cloud. So that's kind of how I think about it. And I have an analogy of how we are looking at MDM SaaS, but I want to give you a chance to react to that.
Absolutely. I mean, agree with you, Prash. Even, like we have also spent almost close to 2 decades at Envision in this MDM. And
Mhm.
I resonate with you in terms of that, when we are talking about cloud, the challenges are there, but outcomes are fantastic. There are so many benefits are there. And the customers which we daily interact with, their journeys, how they want to transition, it's been very
Yeah.
exciting. And I can clearly see that, the future of MDM, it will definitely be more towards cloud, which is
Yeah.
interestingly, our topic today, that we want to just discuss that, after probably 5 years, how do we see this MDM, transitioning? And there
Yeah.
are so many things which are going on right now. Like, we have been seeing the artificial intelligence way of doing MDM. So just want to understand from you, Prash, like in your vision, what do you think that how MDM is going to be in future? Like, let's say next 5 years. Let's
Yeah.
try to, visualize that.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. The way I think about the future of MDM is in sort of a multi-dimensional, as I said, right? So you can't think about future of MDM and the trends we are seeing in a one single dimension. Cloud is obviously a big part of it. Cloud actually allows you to have that mindset of bringing scale and cost and other things we talked about, but also increasing productivity of the users of the master data management system, whether they are business users, the data stewards, or any one of those folks that work in the system. But for me, just purely looking from cloud as a trend, one of the important things we need to really focus on is not just build, as I said, a singly differentiated offering on the cloud, which goes narrowly into one specific area and improves it. You should look at that as an architecture that is, for example, a microservices based architecture on the cloud, right? Some vendors have taken an approach of, okay, we're going to do a lift and shift here. We're going to host our software that we built over the last 20 years and put that on a cloud container and provide them some managed services around that. For me, that's somewhat of a failed approach, right? And I can take a number of examples of vendors who have done that. Other vendors have said, as I explained before, take a single domain approach and build that as an architecture on the cloud, right? But for me, the challenge is, I think, neither of those approaches really solve the true challenges customers face, right? They need something like, if you look at any architect or anyone you talk to, and you probably do that with a lot in your role, they want an architecture that's future proofed, right? MDM is going to be here for many years, and even decades, I would say, right? It's been here for a couple of decades. It's going to be there for many more. You need to have an architecture that's future proofed when in the cloud, right? A microservices based architecture, we call that. It provides you that elastic scale. It provides you the consumption based pricing. As you go, you can use what you want, things of that nature. And it's also need to be very easy to use for business users and data stewards I talked about, as well as IT admins, right? The guys who set up the interface and things like that. So that's one trend I see. The second is the aspect of multi-domain, right? So we talked a lot about multi-domain in the context of MDM. What that truly is not just being able to manage one type of data domain, but multiple type of data domains in a single solution. Like typically customer product comes in very top of that list, obviously, because they are very common domains. But we also see customers managing, one of our customers manages 20 different domains in a single solution, right? They can't simply do that when you offer a single, even if it's an underpinning of a graph database or whatever. That flexibility to manage that kind of number of domains and the relationship between those domains is a complex task, and you need to be able to support that. The future proofed MDM needs to support that kind of use cases, right? Third, I think you mentioned this, and I this topic is something which is obviously last 3 years has been a top of mind for many, is the AI and ML, the use of AI and ML in simplifying MDM and making MDM better, right? When I think about AI ML, there are multiple different comes, and we can talk about this throughout the podcast today. But for me, AI ML simplification comes from the fact that you need to speed up, bring some productivity to some common use cases that we see in the master data management space, right? Whether it is so, for example, in PIM that you guys work a lot with. How do you do automatic categorization of products when a supplier onboards the products? Instead of manually someone going and categorizing those thousands of products, how can we use AI ML to automatically categorize those products to the right category, right? We still provide some human intervention, obviously, right, to get people involved, teach the system, and get that better and better over the time, but at least provide some ML based approach there to simplify that kind of thing. How do we help scale stewardship, right? When you're bringing thousands of millions of records to MDM on an ongoing basis, especially during M&A kind of scenarios, how do you provide that intelligence and automation for stewardship activities so you can scale that, so you don't have hundreds of people or tens of people working on stewardship activities on an everyday basis, right? Automated match and tuning, right? So how do you do matching and tuning a job specifically for your data set, right? So that's a heavy lift today, right? For folks like yourself who get involved in the implementation. How do we make it easier for folks like you to tune up the matching specific to your data set that you're going after? These are some of the things that come up. I mean, these are just on the MDM setup and implementation side, on the stewardship side, but we can also talk about many benefits you see on the business user side, right? How do we provide a great, not only just a great interface for business users, but also help them with some recommendations on data, because we have all the data, we know all the trends and things that exist in the data, the changes that are happening on a day-to-day basis to that data. So how do we make the best recommendation for business users? So I spoke a lot of the three different trends, but I want to cover two more. But I want to give you a minute to react to that first and see what your thoughts are.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree, especially on the artificial intelligence part. And we see quite often, I mean, because whenever we are interacting with customer, earlier
Mhm.
AI was a buzzword, Prash, but now we are actually seeing that into action. People are coming to us and asking that if you have any MDM solution with AI capabilities, as you spoke about, the
Mhm.
auto categorization. Even
Yeah.
in the other master like customer, we talk about the deduplication. We talk about that how can machine learning based, deduplication can be there. How
Mhm.
can we automate the complete methodology? Even in the data discovery, there are so many use cases. So we are
Mhm.
seeing the queries, actual queries, and people want automation. People don't want to spend a lot of time in doing the complete implementation. They want to be quick because time is money. So clearly AI
Absolutely.
is definitely here to stay, and those vendors who are enabling AI in their MDM pieces are definitely going to take a leeway. And we certainly feel, because we interact with customers, we know that what are the ground realities and how people are reacting to AI based MDM. But as we also see, I've seen a lot of conferences where Amit Walia was speaking about that data is the integral part, if even if you're
Mhm.
going for AI. And I clearly believe that if we are solving our data, if we are sorting our data, then only we will be able to use AI much better, like how we plan to.
Yeah, that's a great point, because look, at Informatica, we have a tagline which says everybody is ready for AI except your data. And that's truly
Except
true.
your data.
It's something resonates with everybody, because they look at that tagline and say, oh gosh, that's so true, right? Like that's exactly true. How did you guys like think of that? I mean, it's obvious, right? When you think about it, Gartner is using those terms now, and it's just true. It fundamentally it's data, right? So I'll touch on a couple more things on this topic, because this is a very important one. The other trend I'm seeing more and more, and this is where sort of that borders between what we call an MDM solution and what we call a CDP or a customer data platform is sort of blurring a bit when it comes to customer data, is when what we call a contextual MDM, right? So the ability to combine the master data with non-master data, right? The transaction, the interaction data, to drive initiative like customer experience optimization, right? Providing rich customer 360 views where you have an ability to not just look at the core set of attributes of a customer data, but beyond that, right? If you want to segment your information about customers better and market them better, you got to know a lot more about them. You got to know their purchasing patterns. You got to know the website they're visiting. You got to know the things that they're doing that traditionally not been mastered in MDM system. With the
Yeah.
advent of like this whole cloud in and the scale that it offers, now you have an opportunity to address some of those challenges that we were never able to address before, partly because of the technology underpinnings, right? So that's a big trend I see, and this is where I think it kind of goes into some of the areas that you wanted to talk about, like for example, MDM and data lakes and snowflakes and Databricks. So what's the role of MDM in those environments? I see it as an important role in my view. I think if anything, these initiatives that customers are running, data lake initiatives, MDM becomes a very critical underpinning of that. It either acts as a vehicle for trusted data to feed into those initiatives that are going on in the company, or in some cases, as I've seen, it sits on top of those data lakes. The mastering capability sits on top of that architecture to provide the trusted data you need for these initiatives. I mean, they are doing Gen AI, they're doing AI initiatives. Customers are doing these kind of big initiatives. Fundamentally, goes back to that tagline I told you about. You can't. Your initiative is only great as your data is. So you gotta make sure MDM is centerpiece of that. And the final one I touch on is the what I call the era of apps. Right, the era of apps is basically, if you look at your phone, I have my phone here, an iPhone. I have, my daughter was counting it the other day, 285 application apps on that. That's how many apps I have in my phone. It's a shame actually to a certain degree, because that's how kind of a silo things we have built these days. Everything there's an application, right? But it can work to our advantage if we start looking at this concept of, like, you want to solve a specific business problem, let's say customer experience, or let's say digital commerce, or the supply chain optimization. You need to be able to have a platform on which you can build these applications for solving those specific business use cases. And that's the approach we took here at Informatica, right? We said we're not only providing a foundational MDM capability, which is really great set of features and functionalities like match and merge, hierarchy management, workflows, etc. But on top of that, we're going to build these very use case specific applications. In some cases, they're industry specific too. We built a customer 360 for life sciences, for example, right? And provide that extra layer on top of it to customers. And we didn't stop there, right? We said we are going to open this platform up to partners like yourself, who can come in and say, hey, Prash, I specialize in this retail industry, and I want to go deeper and build even customized application on top of your platform for a specific industry vertical, let's say manufacturing or distribution, where their challenges are really unique. That's the advantage of doing that, right? So when you provide a platform, this is like, the analogy I can give is the Salesforce has built a force.com platform, right, on which you can build an application which uses data in Salesforce and provides a specific business problem that you're trying to address. So I'll take a break here, drink some water. But reaction to
Absolutely.
that?
Yeah, that will be massive for MDM community, Prash. I feel that that is the future, and if we can enable that in some of the MDM offerings we have, I feel we have a very powerful solution which can definitely solve a lot of use cases. And at Envision also, Prash, we keep having such workshops with customers where we try to understand some of their pain points, use case, and help them that how the current MDM will look like, and also give them a visibility that how it's going to scale up. So that's what because we feel that that whatever innovations we are doing, it should not stop here. We should also
Yeah.
look at the future and see that how this is going to shape up in future. And definitely MDM with data lake, I mean, that was something I feel that that can be a very powerful solution. And apart from that, Prash, I also feel that that right now when we are talking about MDM, like many solution including Informatica, they're talking about end-to-end integration. Like we have data integration piece very much there in Informatica. We know that MDM is definitely there, data quality is there, data governance is there. But I feel that probably if a BI, or as we already spoke about, the data analytics, the experience part, where we can actually show that
Mhm.
this data, especially in the customer domain, how powerful it can be when actually you can see the analytics part. So do you feel that
Yeah.
if that can also be combined in future with MDM, then it will be a complete end-to-end integration with everything coupled with the master data management solution,
100%
Prash?
agree with you. I think I don't see a reason why we won't get there, right? It's definitely a path where not only we will offer something customers really, really want, but we also make in the process a lot of things simpler, smoother, easier, both for them, for customers, as well as us as vendors, right? So, I have this thing we call we internally we call it an all-in-one solution. The idea is very simple, right? So, the idea behind it is the MDM is more than just fancy match and merge rules or some slick
Yes.
looking stewardship screens, right? In my view, it needs to be a complete solution that adapts to the customer needs. And oftentimes, when I look at our customers, what they're trying to do, they are doing, when they start an MDM initiative and you're part of these things, they're cataloging master data, they're connecting to the different applications where master data is there, and they're bringing into MDM. They are ingesting that data, they're doing data quality checks, they're doing enrichment, right? Whether from our offering, which we have enrichment services, or using the third party like DNB and others. In some cases,
Yeah.
some industries have specific systems where they connect for data, right? Workflows, security governance, and much more. So I call that as a one all-in-one functionality. And that's how we are thinking about when I say multidimensional approach to cloud, right? So the beauty of this approach is it eliminates that old school way of thinking of trying to stitch together multiple point solutions from different vendors just to get to the data to talk to each other, right? So, and I believe not only that's frustrating for customers, but also ends up costing a lot of money, because not only they're acquiring these different softwares, for one from MDM vendor, one from governance vendor, one from data quality vendor, and then end up stitching those different products together to create a solution. And oftentimes, these these organizations spending enormous amount of time on a stuff that they should not be doing. They should be having that one all-in-one platform that brings all these capabilities together under one roof. So it's easier, faster, and honestly just makes sense to more. And then when you combine that with the other data lake and other initiatives that are going on, just the value is immense. I have examples, like crazy examples here, and some of it, we can provide through the documentation we have, research we have worked together. One customer we work with who moved from an on-prem MDM to cloud, saved cost by 47%, right? While also improving match rate by 60%. So these are some tangible, real values of using like that platform approach I'm talking about, versus building multi-product, multi-vendor solutions where you're managing cost, you're paying multiple vendors, and then oftentimes those partnerships sometimes break, right? So and it ends up costing more time for you to do that on your own. So
Yeah, I think that will be awesome, Prash.
mhm.
Well, I think guys, for you also who have joined us on this podcast, if you have any questions to Prash or me, please feel free to ask. You can either upload your comments in the chat box, or probably when we upload this, you can always put it in a comment so that Prash and me can answer that. Well, Prash, moving on, I think we have a question. I think probably Haro from CDMP. Actually,
I know Haro
he's
actually. I have spoken to him before, and I know exactly where he's coming from. I totally agree with him, because we had a
yeah,
really lively conversation a month ago or so with Haro. Look, that's such a great comment. AI
yes,
will only be adding value to MDM, no question about that. I think from a variety of angles you can look at. I think he's looking at from a multi-character region, localization kind of standpoint. There's plenty. I think that's the one use case. Haro, by the way, keeps coming back again and again when we talk to customers. Is how do I use AI and some of the integration we can do with like even Google Translation and things like that to make that happen. I think from a product PIM kind of use case standpoint, that's becoming very prevalent use case. And I also saw
absolutely.
a comment from Dylan, I think, on AI will be massive for MDM. No question about that. I completely wholeheartedly agree with that comment there.
Absolutely. Even at Envision, also we have specific lab for AI. Like we have,
Mhm.
in fact, our inbuilt tool, Nitrogen, which is completely based around artificial intelligence. So we are also focusing complete efforts on AI by having our own inbuilt capability, because we understand that if we are integrating MDM with the artificial intelligence, we would need people also. That is
Yeah.
the main crux. So if we have that capability, really, it can probably help us going
Mhm.
in this journey, Prash. So,
Yeah.
Prash, I want to understand from you how Informatica is doing it. I know that we talk about IDMC, but I think you are the right person who can
Yeah.
probably tell our viewers that what exactly IDMC is all about. What are the benefits of IDMC, and especially focus on the Claire engine, which we keep hearing from Informatica community,
Yeah.
Prash.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I think we all need to be real. I think data management is definitely, as we all know, is one of the biggest roadblocks to achieving business outcomes. I think that's a proven fact, no question about that. And no matter the size of the company or the organization that dealing with the data, the problem remains the same, right? The managing your data in a sort of the multi-cloud, multi-hybrid world that we're moving into is a complex task. And what organizations really need is an independent, a neutral, and a complete solution, right? That works seamlessly across any type of heterogeneous environment that you have, which is often the case, right? Now, this is where we heavily focused on building a platform, and we call this Informatica's Intelligent Data Management Cloud, or IDMC in short. It really comes in, and the idea of this is, and the way we built it is using a microservices architecture, obviously, which means it is modular. It scales to the needs of you, like whatever the needs of you have. It's super flexible, right? It provides you an option to use the application that we built on top of it, or build your own applications on top of it to solve a business problem. um, and it removes a lot of complexities that come with any other approach we have seen, which is a product centric approaches, right? You buy multiple different vendor products and try to integrate them, and I told you about the drawbacks of that, what it is. And what makes this whole IDMC even better and is the way we have designed it. So for example, we built pre-built accelerators on top of it, right? What I mean by pre-built accelerators is these are things that we provide on this platform freely, completely free, right? You don't have to pay a single penny for that. These accelerators are built for specific use cases, right? And they are come with pre-built industry specific data model, for example, or libraries, or workflows, or matching tuning kind of libraries that come with it, all that come on top of IDMC. So you don't have to do everything from scratch, right? So already IDMC itself provides a lot of value, and on top of it, we're providing these pre-built accelerators. We have ton of them. We can refer you guys to refer to our download page. I think that's where the power of the IDMC comes in. And the last thing I add here is the what I call the AI native at scale, right? So we embedded AI and machine learning into IDMC, and we call that part of that equation as Claire, right? You may have heard about, since 2017, we are, this is even before the whole Gen AI or other things started becoming a trend. We started investing in Claire, or our AI engine, um, in 7 years ago now, right? And the idea of Claire is it uses the metadata layer, which we have access to, obviously, because we provide the platform, to automate thousands of manual tasks that happen underneath, right? It helps you scale data management with less human intervention. It is really designed to bring that productivity we talk about, right? and and the platform is open and flexible. It provides that low code no code approach, versus traditionally you had to learn a proprietary language to do this. You don't have to anymore. You have, most of it is configuration driven. If you want to create, for example, today, a data model in MDM, in our SaaS MDM, you do just point and click and drag approach to create a data model of any complexity, right? That's like unlike anything we have seen in the past, right? So super simple, super easy, and all that is packaged up in a consumption based pricing. So that's how we are approaching it. And I think from any indication of customers I've been talking to, it's working. It's been loved by customers. They really like how we are going about it, and it's only getting better and better every time. We just released our October launch last week. Actually, we announced new capabilities for the IDMC. It's getting better and better as we go. So
Agree with you, Prash. Even when we
mhm,
interact with our customers, they're also highly vocal about IDMC platform, and the everybody's thinking about migration. First of all, it's fully cloud, and the complete integration of not only MDM, you have data integration, you have data governance, you have the data
Mhm.
quality. Everything is coupled in one single solution. I think
Mhm.
that makes it very powerful. And I'm
Yeah.
sure that whosoever is adopting, especially our customers who are thinking about, will definitely take huge
Mhm.
benefits from it.
Mhm.
Prash, just one question I want to pick up because people
Yeah.
are, waiting for their question. So, what is the difference between IICS and IDMC? Pramila wants to ask.
As the platform evolves and expands, we have this is an area we could do better, I think. But there are names that you have heard from us. IICS is our cloud uh, platform that existed, but now I think the best way to go about it is no, IDMC is the platform going forward. That is our platform. That is the phrasing I will use. In intelligent data management cloud is what we call it. Everything you hear about in the future from us is IDMC. It's a single platform, no more confusions, and I think that just makes it easier going forward.
And one more
Look, I,
question
I
from
know Philip
Philip.
already. I see the question from Philip pop up, and I worked with him literally. So I mean that explains how long we've been in this space. Uh, we worked 17 years ago together. So nice to see you, Philip, again here. I don't
So
know what
he's
the question.
basically asking you that how AI will take MDM, especially the product information. I think you already answered this
Yeah.
question when we were talking about that, but
Look,
still,
there
if you
are
can
there are
just
many
speak few
things
lines
we
of
can.
it.
I think that topic alone we can do a separate podcast on, because I talked about data classification. We can cut the cost there. We have seen examples where we can reduce that cost by 50% by doing classification on ourselves through AI rather than using manually. Data discovery, we can do it 100x faster. Actually, that's an actual stat from our product management team, right? We can do data discovery faster. We can improve productivity by 20% on data management tasks. Lot of great things there. I think, as I said, we have 40 petabytes of metadata, right? Or actually more. It's growing every day, and 86 trillion transactions that happen on our platform on an every monthly basis, right? When you have that kind of load going on our cloud, the possibilities are endless. We can derive whatever type of insights we want from that platform, and when we feed that to our clear AI engine, it just miracles happen there, right? So the possibilities are endless. I'm super hyped and excited about that part. So
Obviously, Prash, I mean, this is something which is very exciting, and I'm
yeah.
sure it will keep our viewers, it will keep our, customer also excited. But I want to ask from our developers' point of view, we all have been developers in Informatica, once in our career. So I want to understand from their perspective, let's say if we are migrating to IDMC, what
Mhm.
is it for developer? Will they have to learn altogether a new technology, or the concept still remains same? The
Yeah.
UI is different. So what is it for developers?
Look, I think in the interest of time, I'll keep it short. So, from a developer standpoint, look, in the past, in even at Informatica, the guys who have been associated with us for many, many years, and some people tell me they have been working with Informatica since 2000, 2002, 2004, like 20 years of experience, right? So, that knowledge will not go anywhere. I think it is a natural transition to cloud. The good things about the cloud for developers is, like, you don't have to now say, hey, I know Informatica's Power Center, I know maybe Informatica's MDM, but I don't know IDQ, I don't know that, I don't know this, right? But in the cloud, if you know IDMC, which is our cloud platform, you can pretty much say you know everything else, just because of the commonalities that exist, the way we provide a single pane of glass kind of approach to IDMC, where all these products sort of become just capabilities, right? So MDM is just a capability on the cloud. Data quality is just a capability. So when you know IDMC, you know everything which Informatica offers. So your resume will just look much better now, because you don't just have to say I know one product from Informatica. You know everything from Informatica when you get to know our cloud, right? And the transition between those offerings is fairly easy, right? Because you have a single pane of glass, as I said, to enter into this platform, and just concepts you get to know quickly. The rate at which you learn these things becomes extremely faster. So it will help you a lot. So that's how I put it.
So, guys, if you're a developer in Informatica, no need to worry. As Prash just answered,
We got you
everything
covered.
will be smooth for you. So,
There's
Prash,
lots more for you guys, right? There's a low code, no code approach, and all that benefit that we can talk about. But at the gist of it, I think in the interest of time, that's how I summarize it.
yeah, Prash, also like when I speak to a lot of customers, and they're pretty sitting happily on their on-premise
Mhm.
cloud on-premise implementations, and we ask them that you if you have to migrate to IDMC, so they have this burning question every time, why I should invest in this IDMC. So what are
Mhm.
the benefits I'm gonna get? So just for those people who are still in their double mind and they're thinking to migrate, I want you to answer to them that what are the core benefits they will get if they migrate to IDMC, and why exactly they should invest in this.
Right. Look, I will acknowledge first. I will the first one to acknowledge. It's not. It's oftentimes modernizing or moving to a cloud is not an easy task, right? Oftentimes, at least the perception is that it is going to be a lot of effort, a lot of time it takes to do that kind of mindset customers have. I want to take a lot of that concern away from you, because we at Informatica have predominantly sold on-prem software for many years than any other vendor in the market, I would say, right? So we know that it is a pain that our customers have, and for us, it's also the future in which we are investing in, and we want our customers to be part of it. So we not only provided a great new tool on the cloud, we also are putting a program together to get our customers from on-prem to cloud. That includes not just the tooling to migrate, it provides best practices, it provides advisory services, it provides all the things you need to get to the cloud in a seamless and easier fashion. We have customers today who are migrated to cloud. As I mentioned earlier in example, there are customers who are seeing huge cost savings as well as future proof benefits, right, in the cloud. Definitely talk to either reach out to me directly or find a way to contact Informatica folks. I will be happy to do any intros if you have any customers who are looking to modernize. If you are looking as a customer to modernize to IDMC, we have a huge focus on it. We have experts lined up who can talk to you, provide you the guidance you need, do the assessment, all sort of things. So that's how I that's where we are on that.
That will be awesome, Prash. That will give a lot of comfort to our customers also, because we know that these are some of the questions which people they play on their mind, because if they are thinking about migration, again, it's a cost and impact.
Mhm.
So it's very important to address their concern, and I think with your answer, we'll be able to address a lot of their concerns.
Mhm.
Well, we have one question from Neeraj Arora, Prash, and he's
Mhm.
asking about how does Informatica SaaS MDM supports data mesh architecture. So you want to take it up?
Look, I think that's a topic which is so much needs focus on a lengthy basis, but I'll cut it short into a simple answer. When we work with customers, what we offer them is two words: open and flexible. When you have a platform that's open and flexible, and it allows you to build a modern data product with a cutting edge architecture, it can fit into any things that are coming our way, like data mesh and data fabric. We have heard a lot about that in the last 2 years, 3 years, and that architecture patterns won't stop, right? We hear another one in the future, we hear one more in the future. We have seen customers already leverage IDMC in support of their existing data mesh and data fabric architectures, right? We have seen a number of examples of that. We had a customer, I think it was, I forget the name, a pharma customer who spoke at Informatica World this year, who talked about how how they leverage IDMC for their data mesh, right, architecture. Another customer, I think this was last year in a webinar I did, they talked about data fabric architecture. I think these patterns will come and go, but the openness and the flexibility that we offer is how we address that. And I can go into a deeper conversation on this on a separate note. I mean, Neeraj, great question. I would love to follow up on that if that's okay with you.
Absolutely, Neeraj. Thanks for asking that question. So, guys, if at all you have more questions, you can ask, because we are very much coming to end of our podcast. But if you still have the questions, you can always, address it to Prash or me. We'll take it up in the comment box as well. So, Prash, it's been a very fascinating, journey with you talking about all the future of master data management. And Prash, we have been working with a lot of customers, especially if I talk about our, biggest customer, Puma. It has been one of the biggest implementations in Informatica P360. So I would
Mhm.
say with Informatica, it has been a very, very long association, and I've attended Informatica World also. I know, that uh, how Informatica is shaping up the future, and we are all very excited. But definitely, we can't be successful in this without your blessing. So we want to understand from you that probably, if you can bless us uh, in this journey,
I
because
don't know,
this is
blessing
a
is the right word, but
association.
I'll tell you this. Envision is, you guys have been a partner for over a decade now, right? Like you guys have done many implementations of Informatica, Product 360, for example. And you're also doing great in the AI space. Like from what I know and what I learned from you, you do a lot of work there. End of the day, it comes down to the business outcomes that customers are trying to drive, right? Like I see a huge trend where you guys play, which is digital commerce and supply chain optimization kind of use cases, where more and more of that product 360, the PIM kind of solution come into play, which we have a strong play in. And you are a trusted partner who has the knowledge and the real world experience of implementing MDM. I know anyone spending a decade here, as I said, will be extremely knowledgeable. You're such playing in a very niche field, right? So when you go so much deep, you will obviously have enormous experiences which others can benefit from. So definitely, guys, those who are looking at this podcast live streaming, check out Envision. They are a good partner of ours, and I'm excited for one to work more and more closely with you, Rohit.
Thank you so much, Prash, and same here. I mean, I also have same feelings that it has been a very good association with Informatica. The one thing I want to really call out, whenever you have any doubts, you're stuck, they're just one call away. I mean,
Yeah.
that is the close relationship we had, and really excited to in this journey. And I want to just thanks to our viewers also who hooked up to this podcast. And if you have any questions around any topic related to MDM, then please feel free to reach out to me or Prash. We'll be happy to answer you. And thank you once again, Prash, for this amazing session. Really loved it, and I would like to have more such podcast sessions with you. But it has been a really, a warm knowing you from all these years, and today again we spent a really good time in this.
It's a small world, Rohit. I appreciate you arranging this and getting me to speak. It's been a pleasure, and I hope the folks took away some good insights from today. And I'd love to have any back and forth. I live half my life on LinkedIn, so if you have any question, and that's partly because of my job role. I'm a product marketer, and kind of I just have to live there anyway. So if you have any questions and stuff, love to answer you there. And thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Prash, again, and thank you again once again all the viewers to who are hooked to this podcast. Thanks everyone. Thank you, Prash.
Envision Solutions.